It may feel like Thanksgiving has only just passed, but already Christmas is just 16 days away, just over 2 weeks to catch up on the holiday shopping you've been putting off, and even less to catch a performance of this year's A Christmas Celtic Sojourn. For the past 16 years, the live edition of the WGBH radio show Celtic Sojourn has celebrated the holiday through storytelling, music, and dance. The show's host, Brian O'Donovan, recently joined me, along with one of this year's performers, Scottish singer-songwriter Siobhan Miller. Brian, great to see you. Siobhan, it's great to meet you. I listened to your CD last night, Mercury. Oh, my God. It is just otherworldly great. I'm thrilled to meet you. I'm sort of happy to see him, too. So how many years have you been doing this thing?
Oh my goodness, this is our 17th year of A Christmas Celtic Sojourn. I can hardly believe it. It's just flown by. But it's wonderful.
It fair to say that this is, for people who listen to your legendary radio show, is it fair to say, well it is it fair to say this is essentially the radio show live and in person, yes?
That was exactly the provenance of it, really, was saying, look, we have this kind of great program here that is very kind of low to the ground, very informal. It really is me sitting behind a microphone saying, as if I'm in your living room, I heard this great piece of music, let me put it on for you. And essentially taking that into a Christmas context, a national context, and then eventually onto the stage.
You know, but sorrow when the day is done. I don't want to keep talking about your CD. That is just so, I listened to it 10 times last night. Okay, forget that. Why are you here? I don't mean why are you here. Why are you here? How'd you meet him? How'd this happen?
We met a couple of times in Glasgow at Celtic Connections, but this year I had been playing a show releasing this new record, and Brian and Lindsay were both there, and we got chatting.
Lindsay, his wife.
Yes, yeah, and we were chatting in the hotel bar after the show. And Brian, I knew about the show. I know a few singers that have come over before, and he was telling me about it, and he said, would you fancy coming over to Boston? And I thought, well, that would be a lovely thing to do.
And you did fancy coming over.
I did.
So what had you heard about this show from afar?
Well, I knew from the singers that had come that it was very much a traditional celebration of music, dance, song, stories, which that really drew me to it. I love the idea of it being something that, you know, families are looking forward to coming to as they're yearly out and celebrating Christmas.
Can you describe what the night is like for people who haven't been there?
I think Siobhan kind of touched on it there. It really is a gathering. We often say that we're just getting together on stage and having a party, and the audience is part of that. In fact, they're not kind of like passively just absorbing what we're presenting. They're really part of what it is. And I think there's something about this time of the year, about Christmas or midwinter. You can look at it in many different ways and incorporate many different holiday traditions into it. It's a dark time of the year. It's a cold time of the year. And God knows, Jim, at this time in the world, we're at a dark and a fairly cold time that kind of has people going, I just want to gather with somebody and feel the warmth of another human being next to me, enjoying and celebrating their own humanity.
I can't believe you said that. I was going to get to that later. Every single person in the music world who I've met in the last few years says the same thing, that the release, the ability to be in a place with other people and hear music is so, I mean, we have impeachment, we have Trump, you have Brexit. I mean, so do you feel the same way, that it's this special kind of release needed now more than ever?
Absolutely, yeah. I think there's a need for community, there's a need for being around people, and I think in a situation like the show, it's not just like performers on the stage and audience members. It's a sharing of that experience, which is a really wonderful thing to be a part of.
Okay, so it's Christmas Celtic Sojourn, but even I know that Sweden doesn't fit. So what's with this nickel? Is it nickel harp? Is that how you say it?
Nickel harp is how you say it, yeah. That's the instrument, the particular.
And this guy is also legendary, right?
He is Olaf Johansson, a very Irish name, coming to join me. Well, he may be, because of course the Vikings invaded us one time, Jim. So we might have distant DNA relationship there. But essentially, Scandinavian music, and I think Siobhan would speak to this as well. Scandinavian music really does come from the same root as Celtic, traditional Irish, traditional Scottish music. It really does. And right now, you can have a Swedish or we call them Scando bands or Nordic bands, come into Scotland, into Celtic Connections, which is the festival that Siobhan was referring to earlier, and really really entertain and speak to the audience in the exact same way as a Scottish traditional instrumental band will, or an Irish trad band. It's the same type of earthy, it comes from the coldness of people, to go back to what we just said, getting together and really celebrating their own humanity. And that's what Swedish music and this nyckelharpa, which is an extraordinary instrument.
What is it?
It's a keyed fiddle. So it's a fiddle, it's played with a bow, but instead of having frets, it has keys on it. Much like, you're familiar with a hurdy-gurdy, the thing that they used to play with Monkey on streets? It's close to that type of instrument, and this guy is probably the world's best.
Have you done, harken back to what you said a minute ago, Siobhan. I know you do a ton of concerts, obviously, but the excitement, I think, of this is how many different kinds, from singing to dancing to storytelling to, is that part of
Absolutely. I think that's a very unique part of this show, is that you're getting all these lovely elements all being brought together with an amazing cast. One of the things I'm really excited about is collaborating with lots of these musicians, many of whom I've heard their music over the years but have never worked with. So I think that'll be such a lovely thing to get to sing and watch these other artists.
Do you know who one of the other artists is? Him. Are you performing? You are performing.
I do a little bit. I don't regard myself as a
I do a little
musician.
bit. Guy, what do you do?
It's my little vaudeville act.
You're turning red, aren't you?
Am I really? Am I through the makeup here for my television appearance? It is. I do sing, and I do tell stories, and I participate in being part of this kind of gathering. I'm the host, if you will, but I do get a chance to sing. Are you
nervous? I say that you've done more, I think, for live music in this community than really anybody. I mean, including with me, by the way. It's been a huge thing. Are you nervous before this run of shows?
I think everybody who's really into performing has a little bit of nervousness. It gives us an edge. We know that we're gathering with 1,100 people in the case of the Cutler Majestic Theatre. We should be a little nervous about it, but it's a nervous energy that translates, I think, to a welcome and putting our best foot forward, literally.
So if you want a preview, stick around till the end of the show. Siobhan and your husband, Ewan Burton, he's going to accompany you. Yeah. He's going to play. You're going to sing, and I really can't wait. Brian, congratulations. Can't wait to see the show.
Thank you very much,
Can't
Jim.
wait to hear you, Siobhan.
Thank you very much.
So great to see you. Congratulations, you both. The 17th season of Christmas Celtic Sojourn kicks off this Wednesday, December 11th, runs through Sunday, December 22nd, including their very first sensory-friendly performance on the 20th, inspired, Brian tells me, by a similar performance at the Boston Pops. For more information, head to WGBH.org/Celtic.